So we were looking at this, the design procedure for a low pass filter. How do we understand that a filter's given response, which includes nothing but magnitude response and the phase response, for any frequency response of any filter, whether it's low pass or high pass, you will obtain both the magnitude and the phase. So we saw that by using an exponential, we can really express the filter's frequency response in a very nice way, which gives us both the magnitude and the phase. So HD of omega equal to e power minus j omega alpha, where alpha is the slope of the phase characteristics and omega is the frequency. Always frequency in terms of omega, in terms of radians we represent. So we write it in terms of omega. Mod of omega less than omega c means this is a low pass filter. For the low pass frequencies are being passed and the high pass frequency, since it is periodic with 2 pi, we write the range from minus pi to pi. So any frequency from omega c to pi is 0. So that is the meaning. This, since we are representing a low pass filter. See, this is very important. You understand the nature of the filter by looking at this inequality. Okay, so make sure you remember that. So since this is in the frequency domain and we want to express in terms of time in the time domain, we write hd of n is equal to, integrate it, we take the inverse transform, inverse discrete time Fourier transform. So only the time is discrete, frequency is continuous. So minus pi to pi we integrate instead of minus infinity to infinity, hd of omega e power j omega and d omega. So where we substitute the value, we did the integration, if you see, okay, and sorry, what did we obtain? We substitute, exponential integration is exponential itself. We did this and we obtained the value of your hd of n, which is nothing but the impulse response. So basic thing here is that we wanted to restrict our hd of n for your phase to be linear. There are two conditions. Okay, there were two conditions. One is that your hd of n has to be of finite duration. One more is that it has to be symmetric and antisymmetric. So because it has to be of finite duration, you find out the value of hd of n, both for n is equal to alpha and n not equal to alpha. And then you multiply, you include something called as a window, which ranges from 0 to some n minus 1. Here capital N is referred to as the order of the filter. Till this were what we saw. And the relation between alpha and n is this, alpha being the slope of the equation. So I hope you all go through this once. Also the notes of this is also already shared. If you have seen once, you will understand. So now we'll see today in general how we can write this and what is the magnitude response of the filter. So I will draw the, for a simple low pass filter, I will draw the characteristics h of omega and omega, and I'll give you the equation for this thing. So how do I do this? Generally, if I want to write the magnitude response of the filter, right, I'll do it this way. Okay, you can draw it along with me. So on the y-axis, we will plot your h of omega, and something called as delta will give us the stop band and the pass band ripple. Now I'll tell you what is this. Okay, say I have something, have the filter response like this. Ideally, this should be, if it's a low pass filter, it should pass all the low pass values. But in real life, when you plot the filter, you will get some crest and troughs like this. Okay, is any problem? Somebody is saying something? Are you able to see, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, initially due to some network, I didn't understand what you told now, ma'am, like for a few minutes.
Okay. See, you just see now. I was just explaining what was done in the previous class. That's all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is your filter's response. In general, it look like this. Okay. So this, whatever you have, ideally what you wanted a smooth transition. Low pass filter characteristic will look like this. But in real life, when you actually plot your filter, it is going to look something like this. And what is going to happen is, say here I will, these crests and troughs what you see, these are called as the ripples. Okay, so let me call this as, say, the first value that is there here, say the length of this is some delta, okay, delta 1, then the value, tref value will be 1 minus delta 1, and the crest will be 1 plus delta 1. Okay, and this, since this is a signal that you are passing, okay, somewhere here you will have, you drop a line, this is nothing but your frequency omega p, which says that it is the pass band frequency. Okay, here omega p is the pass band frequency. That means this is the range of frequencies that is actually passed. So if this is a low pass filter, right, what should happen? A set of range of frequencies has to be passed and a range of frequencies you want to stop. So ideally what should happen? The filter has to stop at some point, but it actually starts stopping the values somewhere here. You, at the stop band also you see some um, ups and downs. Just suspend a line here and you have some value which cuts here, right? Exactly this point you take it, you write that as omega s. So this is your stop band frequency. That means there is a band of frequencies you're passing and there is a band of frequencies from which you're actually stopping the further passing of the signal, because it's low pass filter. In low pass filter you want to pass all the low frequencies, higher frequencies than a particular cutoff frequency value you want to stop. Ideally the cutoff frequency, if you take, it will come in between this. Okay, so these are called as ripples. Okay, these are the ripples. This is called the pass band ripple, and at the stop band whatever you have is nothing but the stop band ripple. So I can say this something as delta 2, the stop band ripple, I will represent it here. Okay, and on the x-axis, remember, we have the frequency omega. On the y-axis, we have h of omega. This is always how you are going to plot your frequency response. So I can say that this much region, whatever I'm having, till this perpendicular line, this is nothing but the pass band. Okay, this is the pass band, and you extend from this omega s, whatever line you extend. Okay, from this value I can say that all these, this band of frequencies is nothing but the stop band. So this value of pass band and stop band will vary. For low pass filter it is this way, whatever frequencies you're passing constitutes the pass band. Whatever frequencies you are not passing, those are nothing but the stop band. Okay, and in between, ideally in an ideal filter, pass band should be passed and the stop band values have to be removed totally. But in real life you can see a smooth transition like this. So the band in between that is called as transition band. Okay, so you have a pass band, you have a stop band, you have a transition band. Here you have the pass band ripples, which is shown here. Here you also have the stop band ripples. Okay, and though in case of FIR filters, we don't really concentrate on the value of capital N. Okay, capital N is nothing but the order of the filter. Okay, order of the filter. Now order of the filter means in your LIC, in your AC and all, you would have done. Simple way I will just explain to you. If you have a single RC component, okay, say something like this. You have a simple single R and C, right? Simple low pass filter. This is a first order filter. If you have One more section of RC. This is a second order filter. So as you increase the order of the filter, what happens to the filtering efficiency of the filter? As you increase the order of the filter, what is going to happen to the filtering efficiency? It will be very high, right? So in all the cases, you will usually try to improve the efficiency of the filter by fixing the order of filter to its ideal value. So for a given set of values, you can calculate and say some passband ripple, some stop band ripple is given to you. You can also write it as, in many textbooks, they will also write it as delta P and delta S. Okay, you can call the passband ripple as delta P and stop band ripple as delta S also. Okay, these are ripples, passband ripple and stop band ripple. So basically, in many of the cases, the order of the filter you will write. Okay, how do you write? There's an empirical formula which is given for this. You don't have to worry how this has come. You can write it, and we may not really use it also in many of the problems, because in FIR filters they won't give you the ripple value and they'll not ask you to solve a problem. In case they ask you, you can use this. Okay, the order of the filter you will calculate using this formula: minus 10 log of delta 1 delta 2 or delta p delta s minus 15 by 14 into delta of f, where this delta f is nothing but the transition bandwidth. Since it is in hertz, see, whenever f is going to come, it is going to be in hertz. So you have to divide this radiance value, that is omega s minus omega p, divided by 2 pi always. Okay, this is a transition bandwidth. You can make a note of this. Or you can also write it as delta f is equal to fs minus fp. Okay, where omega s is equal to 2 pi fs, omega p is equal to 2 pi fp. Okay, you can also write it this way. Is it okay? That means if this value omega is in this is in radians. So if you want in radians, whatever is in hertz, you multiply 2 pi to that. You know this. I hope you know. Okay, always in our representation we always use omega to represent the frequency. Most, that means frequency is plotted in omega, and this magnitude response will be in terms of its logarithmic scale. It's always better to use the log scale. Okay, this is the usual formula that is um, given, but you may not really be using this. In very rare cases, we'll use this. Just have this formula with you and know what is the pass band, what is stop band, what is transition band, delta P or delta S, or pass band ripple and stop band ripple, what it is. Just know what it is. Okay. And one more important thing is the width of the main lobe. Main lobe means, this is the main portion of the filter, right? So for your windows, what is the width of the main lobe? Your filtering means you're actually doing what? You have your h of n, or your impulse response, you have to multiply it with the window. Now what is the window? Based on the transition width of the main lobe, you will choose this window. So there's a formula for that. Width of the main lobe of the window, you can say it is some k into 2 pi by m, some m value. Okay, so we will see how to do this. Just have this formula with you. Let me show you the table. I hope you will take down the table also. Just a minute. All the different windows. Can you see this, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So these are the different windows that we have. So if you see here, right, here the transition width is given to you. Transition width of the filter is given to you. So you can make a note of this because we look at this and then choose the window even in the problems. Okay. I wrote it as m, right? 2 pi by m. You can write it as 2 pi by n. Okay. Here, width of the main lobe, you can write it as k into 2 pi by n. Make this as n. Width of the main lobe means it is actually the transition width that we are actually talking about. So based on these values given in this table, based on the value that is given in this table, you can make note of this table. All of you can make note of this table. Each window has got a transition, or you can even refer to the notes, the same notes I have put in the classroom. You can refer there. The transition width is given to you and this thing is given to you. And also after this, the steps for your window or your designing is given. Okay, we will go through that. So you consider whatever diagram I have written, right? You want to write down this or you will just go through it, all the steps when we do the problem. When we do the problem, you will understand. Okay. Right now, I will just tell you what all we are going to do. First thing is, you know the filter's response is there. You have a value delta of S, right? So you consider this delta of S and which is nothing but your stop band attenuation value. Stop band attenuation means what? Stop band attenuation means what? At what point in the stop band in dB?
Delta S, ma'am.
Delta S, exactly. So at what value of your delta S ripple are you going to stop? Beyond which, beyond this stop band value, you are not going to do the filtering. So at what value that attenuation occurs, that in dB if you want to calculate, take 20 log of delta of S. Okay. So usually omega P and omega S, whatever you saw here, right? This one. Omega P, omega S, whatever we saw, right? These are called as your passband edge frequencies. Okay, passband edge frequency, you can write down there. Omega P is passband edge frequency and omega S is stop band edge frequency. Okay, so for a filter, they'll give you what is the passband edge frequency, what is the stop band edge frequency. They can also give you your delta of P and delta of S values. Okay, so based on that, you will calculate your value and you will, if it's in dB that it is given, it is 20 log of stop band attenuation means 20 log of this ripple. Delta S value that is given, 20 log of this you will take. If the passband value is given, you will take that. So for a given problem that will be mentioned to you, Okay, so after doing this, after you calculate this value, you will select the window type. So here you can see that the stop band attenuation value, after calculating the stop band attenuation value, okay, by looking at this, you can select the actual window. Suppose you get some 25, around 20, 24 dB. Then you can choose a window Bartlett window because the stop band attenuation value is matching. So based on this attenuation value that you get here, that you need to choose, look at this table and choose the window. This is the first step. Okay. Next important thing, you should also look at the window's transition width. That is your omega s minus omega p. What is that value? Delta omega means actually what do we mean? If you look at this one, it is the width of this transition. Okay, that is your delta of omega. Here in terms of delta f I wrote. If you want it in terms of, okay, in terms of radians only, if you want it, it is nothing but delta omega, which is nothing but omega s minus omega p. That's it. You won't divide by 2 pi. If you want it in hertz, you will divide by 2 pi. If it's in radians, that the value is there, you multiply by 2 pi. Just remember that. Okay. So here we are considering in terms of transition width in terms of radians. So delta omega is equal to omega s minus omega p. That means this minus this is this width. So in a problem, right, when a filter design problem is given, they will give you either the passband or stop band ripple value. You may have to calculate the attenuation in 20 log of this value. When you do, you can get the attenuation. Once you get the attenuation, you look at this table. You will be looking at this table for these values 21, 25, and accordingly choose the window. You look at the attenuation, and sometimes in some problems they will also give you this transition width. This transition width delta omega value also they can give you. So this is how they will specify in the filter design problem. So based on that you choose a window. Once you choose a window, what is your next goal? Your next goal, like we did in the previous class, is to find out this HD of n. And we'll follow the same procedure how we did here. They might give you a problem like this. You will write the response, figure out which is whether it is low pass, high pass, what is given in the question you will figure out. You will perform the integration and all this. You will obtain your HD of n. After obtaining HD of n, based on the value of this transition width, okay, based on the value of the transition width and the stop band attenuation, whatever is given in the question, you will choose the respective window. How do you choose the respective window? This table you should actually remember. Window function is given. This is the equation for W of n. You will have it here. You solve more problems, this will become by heart to you. And transition width will also be given. In some cases, right, along with this stop band attenuation, they will also give you relative amplitude of the side lobe. Okay, even that, based on that you can choose the window. Those values also you can include here. I will, I will write a few more pages and I will add it in the classroom along with the table. You can, this is sufficient actually, but in very rare cases they can even give you the amplitude of the side lobe and they can ask you to do it. So as of now, just understand so much. You will have all these things and then you're going to solve your problems.
Ma'am, is it a standard values, ma'am?
Which one?
Stop band attenuation, ma'am?
Yeah, it is a standard value. How it is chosen is for each window, right? For each window, actually, they have an equation, and by looking into the equation and applying it to filters, empirically, they have derived these values. So, no matter what, whatever you do, the attenuation value that the window provides will be this much. These are standard values.
Yes, please.
Okay. So I told you in the previous class, right? You can just imagine that you are looking out of your house. You have different shaped windows with you, and you can say for at a point you can change the shape of the window at your home, and you're looking out at the same scenery. So the way you look from a triangular window will be different from the way you look at a circular window. Circular window may cover more information. Triangle may cut off certain things, but it may give you precisely what you're looking at, right? You can just imagine these windows also to be the same. Okay, based on what information you want to capture, these attenuation values actually speak that. Okay, somebody is Jayant is saying something.
Ma'am, we choose windows depending upon attenuation value, or else if we choose this window, this much amount of attenuation will be there, ma'am.
Both, either way it is true. Both sides it is true. Basically, in a problem, they are going to say, I want stop band attenuation of 50 will be mentioned. Okay. So according to the attenuation value, you are going to choose in the problems that you are going to
Choose
solve.
this one.
According to the attenuation given to you, you will choose the window, respective window and its equation.
Ma'am, when they tell a stop band
Give like
attenuation
here
again,
for rectangle, ma'am. They have given attenuation as 21, ma'am.
Yeah.
Like 19 or 18, we choose rectangle. If they give 26 or something like that, we go for next one.
Yes, exactly.
So, ma'am, in the problem also they mention the stop band attenuation, ma'am.
Yes, they will sometimes they'll mention the stop band attenuation, and sometimes what will happen, they'll not mention instead of saying this, they will just give you the order of the filter. Okay, so by giving the order of the filter, there is a relation to actually find out. See, I will show you that in the last class. In the last step, I have written this. There's a value called as alpha. So this alpha value you will get by looking at the order of the filter. You can calculate this alpha. Either they'll give you the alpha value or they'll give the order of the filter. So if you know the order of the filter, you see here, you can calculate your transition width, right? So based on the transition width also you can choose the window. So either stop band attenuation value or the transition width, or if both are mentioned, you need to look at both and then do the problem. It depends on the problem. Okay.
Yes.
So any problem you have, either you will have the width will be given or the stop band attenuation will be given. Sometimes both can be given in the problem. So based on that, you will choose a respective window. Calculation of your impulse response, you will follow the same procedure what we did for the derivation here, whatever how we did, right? Even the same thing I'm going to do. In a similar fashion, I'm going to do the problem. So if you have missed this also, we'll compensate for it while doing the problems, not to worry. So in the same way, we'll do the integration, we'll do everything, and then obtain your HDFN. Next step is the chosen window, we are going to multiply it. Why we are doing it? We will restrict it with length of capital N. So here you see that the value to which the order, choosing the order of the filter and the window that you choose, it has to match, because you're going to restrict from 0 to n minus 1. Why we are choosing window? In order to restrict or limit the infinite impulse response. We are breaking the infinite impulse response. Why are we breaking the infinite impulse response? In order to have linear phase. This is the most important thing that we want. Because we want linear phase only, we are doing all this circus. Getting? What happened? It got stuck or what? Okay. All right. So you just have a look at these values, have it with you. Remember, try to remember this. As you do more problems, you will understand. So the steps actually given is, this is whatever is given data you obtain and you choose the window. Okay. So that is the first step. Select the window type from this table such that your stop band attenuation exceeds this whatever is the given value. Greater than this given value, you take the stop band attenuation. Next, choose the transition width, that is delta of omega. Whatever is there, you please try to calculate for the FIR filter. Okay, using this relation. So this is what I was telling you. Delta of omega is equal to 2 pi by n into some k value. Now k value here you can write down. For the rectangular window, the k value is 2. For the Bartlett window, it is 4. Hanning window, it is 4. Hamming window, it is 4. Only then it is satisfying this equation. Right? I will show you what it is meaning. So here in the Second step, you're going to calculate this, right? Let me show that. So you have the relation, your capital N greater than or equal to k into 2 pi by delta of omega. See, everyone, you can, for the sake of simplicity or for understanding it better, you can open the notes parallelly. You can have it with you so that you'll be able to understand better. I have no issues with that. So this is what is given to you. That means the delta of omega, this transition width value, delta of omega, that is omega s minus omega p, you can calculate, or I can say delta of omega is greater than equal to k into 2 pi by n, right? This is the value. Now for rectangular window, your delta of omega is given as 4 pi by n, right? There, it is given as 4 pi by n. That means if you write it in terms of that, it is 2 into 2 pi by n. Some value, constant value k into this 2 pi by n. It means it's a multiple of this 2 pi by n value. For your Bartlett window, what is the value given? Delta of omega is given as 8 pi by n. So it means that in terms of k into 2 pi by n, how can you write? 4 into 2 pi by n. So for Bartlett window, Hamming window, for all these windows, it is 8 pi by n. So in a problem, if they mention to you the value of k is 4, or they can mention the transition width is 8 pi by n. Delta of omega, transition width means delta of omega is 8 pi by n. You can choose either of these windows. Apart from this, if they mention to you the stop band attenuation also, then accordingly you choose whichever window you want. If it is Blackman window, only Blackman window, you can see that the transition width is very high. That is delta of omega is equal to 12 pi by n, it is given, which is nothing but 6 into 2 pi by n. So the k value, if it is mentioned as 6, also you can choose this. You can make a note of this somewhere, because this is not mentioned even in that table. Make a note of this.
Ma'am, can you show what's
Sorry?
written on the top of like
Here.
equations are written here?
This one. Okay, yeah. Width of the main lobe k into 2 pi by n. Okay. Width of the main lobe is nothing but delta of omega. Should be, ideally you should choose it greater than or equal to this value. Okay. Is it done? Okay. So you can see here, you select the window, then you, based on the transition width and based on whatever I showed you now, you choose the window. Next, you specify the ideal or desired frequency response. Here, if you see, you will obtain the impulse response of the FIR filter by taking the inverse transform of this HDF omega. In your question, they will mention to you this HDF omega. So if you want to take the inverse transform, because frequency is continuous, you should use integration. Okay, you use integration and you take the IDFT. Usually you'll get it in this form itself. Okay, usually you'll get it in this form. You can directly write it like this. If it is a low pass filter, if it's a high pass, you will see that it will be omega c into alpha minus n. That's all. That will be the only change that will happen. I'm not telling you that. You will do problems similar to that and you yourself will make out. So once you see, this chapter is such that FIR filter, low pass filter means the steps are same. The value will be definitely given like this. Only alpha value will change. Okay, or the window will change. The integration remains the same. The answer remains the same. Everything remains the same. So if you do it for all the filters and keep it with you, in the exam, all that can vary is this alpha value or the the attenuation and all these things can vary little bit. The window that you're going to choose will vary. Apart from that, everything is going to be the same. So it's actually very easy. It's very simple to do few problems. Not at all to worry.
This h of omega is constant, no, for low pass filter.
Yeah, you will understand that. I just told you beforehand so that you have an idea. So this is the HD of omega for low pass filter, right? So in the last class, if you remember, we did this. Remember, HD of omega, this is low pass filter. If you want HD of n, you're going to do the same integration. Only thing is that is going to change is what? Alpha will be given some value, some slope value will be given, or capital N will be given. If capital N is given, you can calculate your alpha. Okay. So whatever is given, based on whatever is given to you, if you get this HD of omega equation is there, you take the integration and you do all these things. Ultimately, you are going to get it in terms of sign only. To do the integration of this exponential is always the exponential integration is not going to change. So you will always get it in such a form. Only thing is make sure for n is equal to alpha and not equal to alpha. For both you do your integration whenever you are doing. Whatever we did in the previous class. So you will definitely get it in the same form. So this is low pass filter. Now the problem that we are going to do, you will understand. It will follow the same. Your HD of n will remain the same, but your W of n, that is the window that you're going to multiply, will vary. Window's equation you will choose based on the specifications given to you in the question. That's it. For low pass filter, that's it. The answer is going to be this into W of n. W of n, how you are going to choose? Based on the values given to you. That's it. It's as simple as that. Okay. Only thing is you need to understand these concepts properly. What is pass band, stop band, what is the ripple present, and if it's given in terms of attenuation, 20 log of this ripple value if you take, you'll get the attenuation. This you need to remember irrespective of FIR filter or IIR filter. And have this formula, we are not going to really be using this. In very rare cases where roughly they'll ask you, calculate the order of the filter, you just need to remember this formula and you can apply it. Okay, just keep it with you. In our most of our problems, we may not be using this. We'll solve all kind of problems. Don't have to worry. Okay, so let's go back to this. So here it's mentioned the next step after choosing the window, this will be given to you. You do the integration, you find out HD of n, and because of the it's mentioned about some smearing effect of the window, that is nothing but as the shape of the window changes, a little bit of characteristics of your output will get altered. So students, meeting may end in 5 minutes. No problem. Just been shown. You can rejoin back if it ends. Let me see if there is option to there is no option to continue, right? No option to update anyway. No problem. Okay, next thing is for avoiding this smearing effect and to find out exactly your cutoff frequency, omega c, your omega c will somewhere be around after the pass band around delta omega by 2. This empirically we are taking. I will tell you what it means in real life or in your thing. You know your omega p or your passband ripple is here. So ideally your cutoff frequency is always taken 3 dB down your maximum value. I hope all of you know this. So in terms of your logarithmic scale, 3 dB down you take and you suspend that on your x-axis, you're going to get your cutoff frequency. So omega p plus this transition width by 2. That means the midpoint between omega p and omega s, you take it. That is your omega c. That is what it means by telling this value. Okay. Also, according to this, you calculate your alpha value is equal to n minus 1 by 2. You must satisfy all these conditions. And finally, the impulse response, you write h of n is equal to hd of n into omega of n or w of n, window function. Okay, very simple. Just follow these steps. Make sure you choose the window properly. Look at what is given in the question and then we will move ahead. Okay. So we will solve this problem. I will solve it, no problem. Now, you just copy down the question. A low pass filter is to be designed with the following desired frequency response. Write down this question. So in this problem, everything is mentioned. Simple problem will start off. A low pass filter is designed with the following desired frequency response. You can copy the question, everyone. This is also a part of a question, okay? Determine the filter coefficients. Determine the filter coefficients. HD of n and H of n. If W of n is a rectangular window. So in the question, it is mentioned to you, it is a rectangular window. WR of n that you're going to use.